In America, can a guy from anywhere go to sleep a pauper and wake up a millionaire? Only in America can a kid without a cent get a break and maybe grow up to be president. Only in America, land of opportunity, yeah. Would a classy girl like you fall for a poor boy like me?
As you know, the Supreme Court, after we get out all of the fake news from CNN and all these other people, we won that case 9-0. Mm-hmm. And basically, that's really a decision that will be made by the government of El Salvador, because that's where, I assume that's the one you're talking about.
He's from El Salvador.
Staying there, and he's from El Salvador. So that's a decision up to El Salvador. But it's interesting because we won that decision 9-0 in the Supreme Court. And if you listen to the news, you wouldn't know that. The border is very, very secure right now. And we didn't need legislation. We needed a president to say, that's it, no more people coming in. And the other day, you probably saw the statistic. It was like for a long period of time, 9 people, and they came in because they had a medical problem. Well, we actually took them in because one of them had a heart attack, one of them had something else. No, the border is very secure. We're going to make it a longer border. I built 571 miles of wall, which nobody likes to talk about, but it's the way it is. And I had to take the money because the Senate and the House, they were not in a giving mood. So I took the money out of the military. I called it an invasion. It's an invasion of our country, and it really worked. You know, walls work. Remember when they said, the Democrats would say, you don't need walls. Well, walls, 2 things work. What are the 2 things? Walls and wheels. They'll never change. Yes. Everything else is obsolete immediately, but walls and wheels will never change. And we have a very secure border right now. But the no tax on tips, I love. No tax on overtime is incredible. No tax on Social Security for the seniors is great. And the deduction of interest, you buy a car, and if you buy the car, and it's only if it's made in America, otherwise who cares, right? Mm-hmm. But and more factories are moving back. I think you see that. Mm-hmm. Everybody sees it. A lot of people don't like talking about it, but everybody sees it. We have record number of car factories coming back, and other factories too.
Mr. President, I'd like to teach you how to say, let's make America great again in
make
Spanish.
America.
So, vamos a hacer,
make America Donald Trump again. Donald Trump could not stop talking. I mean, I love listening to him. The most transparent president in the history, at least this man's life, who's talking to you. I haven't heard anybody talk like him ever. Transparent. We're learning so much as Americans. And how you doing, Juan? You okay?
Doing okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks for being here. We got Juan here tonight. He's the producer. And we got a talk show here. I think there's music in the background still, that Only in America show. Beautiful song by Jay and the Americans, and Only in America. You know, if you want to give this show a call, 727-441-3000, 727-441-3000. This is the Bill Cochrane Show. We're on every Tuesday night, 6 to 7 p.m. And you can also listen to my Only in America minutes that are on every day right after the news, 8 o'clock, noon. Well, actually, 8 o'clock, 11, and 6 p.m., Monday through Friday, the Only in America Minute. And I love Donald Trump. I don't have to promote him anymore because he won. But I'm going to defend him. I'm going to defend him. I'm going to defend the man that went through so much when he was running for president against Joe Biden, against the Department of Justice, Merrick Garland, the district attorney general, against the judges, Mershon, who wanted to really put him in Rikers Island. They're not going to let them put any of these gang members in Rikers Island. I think most Americans that have come here legally, that have gone through the process, immigrants, I think they want the gangsters out of here as well. The only ones that want them here are these crooked federal judges and these crooked politicians. Why else would a senator from Maryland travel Easter weekend instead of being with his beautiful family if he has a family? Why would he want to travel to El Salvador to beg to bring back one of the worst criminals probably in El Salvador? They call him Garcia, very famous gang member. They say he beat his wife. They say he was a member of the MX-13, a gang that was founded in L.A. back when Barack Obama was president. Gangsters, gang members, wreaking havoc on the American people, on your wives, on your daughters, on your grandchildren, killing people, selling drugs on the streets of America, fentanyl, trafficking, money, power, corruption. They were from 160 countries, people coming through an open border into America. 160 were never vetted, were just sent into this country to a tune of 5 to 10 million people. They'll never leave, most of them, no matter how big the mass deportation is. Donald Trump will not be able to get these people out of this country. Barack Obama, he sent millions out. I think 4 or 5 million went out under his administration. Never had any injunctions like Trump is having, injunctions from judges that are trying to stop him at every step he makes. Donald looks at the news media, looks him in the eye. Hey, he's an open book. He's not afraid to say what he feels in a way that calms a nation. He's a lot calmer now than he was. He had a beautiful revival breakout up in the White House up there over Easter weekend, singing Christian songs. Holy, holy, holy. They're singing in the White House. That's a miracle in America. Under Joe Biden, the transgender people were there singing to the little kids. Joe Biden. Was he really running this country? No, he wasn't running this country. But who was? We'll never know. You're never going to know. Most of these gang members in the politics of America, like Congress and Senate and many others, they won't go to jail. But they wanted to put Donald Trump in jail in the worst way, and they never wanted him to be in the White House again. But now he's there, putting up pictures of, actually putting up the Declaration of Independence behind a curtain. Is in the Oval Office. Ronald Reagan took Barack Obama's picture down and put his own portrait up where he says, fight, 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 with the Secret Service man who's in charge of the Secret Service right now. It's where Barack Obama's picture was. Barack Obama, who said Trump would never be president. Barack Obama didn't help America. Barack Obama is worth hundreds of millions of dollars, they say. Not sure how much. He's building a library, presidential library up in Chicago to a tune of almost $1 billion, they think, instead of helping the people of Chicago. Take. Hey, the more you get, the more you give. Follow the money. They're trying to follow the money. Jim Comer, he's going to go after Cuomo, they say, who wants to become the mayor of New York City. Andrew Cuomo, the one that put the people in the nursing homes to die. More people died in the nursing homes in New York City under Andrew Cuomo policies, then most people ever didn't have a chance. Andrew Cuomo with COVID never used that beautiful ship, Mercy, that Donald Trump set in as a COVID hospital where people could have gone. Never used the Javits Center where 2,800 beds were ready to go. Billy Graham's son, Franklin Graham, Samaritan's Purse was there with a hospital. Not sure if they were using that, but Cuomo sent people into the hospitals. And now there's going to be an investigation, I believe. I think Pam Bondi will be opening up an investigation into whether he is going to face any criminal charges. The man that wants to be mayor of New York City, the man that pretty much wreaked havoc on New York State when he opened up the prisons and got rid of bail. Let anybody out. Cuomo, professional politician, another one. And Donald Trump's bringing a lot of young people into his administration. Many of them are in their 30s and in their 40s. And he's going through a lot of controversy, a lot of problems, especially with this Pete Hegseth. Pete, who's in charge of the Department of Defense right now. Roman's way up in the military. Pete, who was a battle-proven veteran, is in charge of the Department of Defense. They want to get rid of him. They want to get him out. They want to hit Donald Trump's transition team any way they can so that they can try to put a little nick in Donald Trump's policies, which is normal in America, but it's not normal the way they put Donald Trump through so much when he was going to run for president again. We've got some clips tonight. If you want to, maybe you can play one for us there, Juan, if they're set up. Go ahead.
I think it's a big mistake. That term clean energy is just a marketing term. There's no clean energy. All energy sources involve trade-offs. Solar and wind take over 100 times more land, 10 times more steel and cement and heavy materials to produce. There's no clean energy. There's just different trade-offs. But and they're not renewable either. But these variable weather-dependent energy sources are heavily subsidized, which means there's jobs to build those things in certain communities, and politicians think that feels good. But at the end of the day, the result of them has been more expensive electricity in the United States, less reliable grid, and the continual outsourcing of energy-intensive jobs out of our country. Like, this is absolutely the wrong direction, and President Trump got elected to stop that nonsense, bring back common sense. People want affordable products. They want reliable electricity. They want manufacturing jobs in the United States. It's just common sense. I think it's a big mistake.
Just common sense. That's all Donald Trump is talking about. We spent trillions of dollars on climate change. We were almost Kamala Harris's favorite thing was the electric school bus. She loved electric school buses. Oh, they love those batteries. They love those Teslas up until Elon Musk started checking on the efficiency of the government waste. Let's play another clip. Juan, I think we got one. Maybe Pete Hegseth might be the next one. Go ahead.
They've come after me from day one, just like they've come after President Trump. I mean, I've gotten a fraction of what President Trump got in that first term. What he's endured is superhuman. It's not hard for me to do this job. I know exactly why I'm here. To bring warfighting and the warfighting ethos back to the Pentagon, to rip out the insidious ideologies and not compromise and not back down, to bring in new press voices into the Pentagon, which we've done, to reestablish standards and accountability, to not tolerate leakers, to 100% operational control of our border, to get rid of trans lunacy in the military. We haven't backed down. See, here's the thing. A lot of people come to Washington and they just play the game. And it's you punch their ticket and get along to go along and, start doing Meet the Press and going to the Council on Foreign Relations and spending time with all the new cocktail sipping crowd. That's not why I'm here. I'm here because President Trump asked me to bring warfighting back to the Pentagon every single day. Right. That is our focus. And if people don't like it, they can come after me. no worries. I'm standing
So-
right here. The war fighters are behind us. Our enemies know they're on notice. Our allies know we're behind them. And that, in this dangerous world, for the American people, is what it's all about.
Yeah, Pete Hegseth, he left his job at Fox News. He was there for 10 years, at least 10 years, and military veteran, and left his job to go serve in the Department of Defense under Donald Trump's transition team. He's a man in charge. He's quite a great gift above than some of the people that were there in Donald Trump's first term or Joe Biden's term. Pete is trying to make the military into a fighting machine, a winning machine. He's trying to raise the morale in the military. That's Pete. That was him. He's in his 40s, from Minneapolis, Minnesota, 4 children, and a man that many know, especially Fox News viewers, is a MAGA man. He loves Donald Trump, and he wants to see make America great again. Let's play another clip, Juan.
We will have no tax on tips. That was an easy one. We will have no tax on overtime. You work overtime. And for our seniors who have been decimated by the stupidity of inflation, these people, what they did to you on inflation, we will have no tax on Social Security benefits.
Comes from Donald Trump's policy on the new tax bill he's trying to get through. Went through Congress, I believe. It's got to go through. Let's play another one. Play another clip. Go ahead.
This may be the biggest irony I've ever seen in American politics, that it looks like she's engaged in the same thing she charged President Trump with. I mean, turns out you can't have your principal residence in Virginia and be the Attorney General of New York. Turns out you can't on a mortgage form say that your dad is actually your husband. And you also can't say that you got a 4-unit property that's actually 5 units. Those are the 3 things that it looks like she did over a long period of time. And yet she had the gall to go after President Trump. You got to be kidding me. So, yeah, I think this is real. We'll see. Her comments so far, she's been kind of quiet. Of course, she does a typical thing the left always does. The left will they'll always accuse us of what they're doing. And the other thing they always do, the left will tell a lie. Trump did something wrong. Big media will report it. Big tech will amplify it. And then if you tell the truth, they call you names. And that's exactly what she did. I think she called President Trump and his administration bullies for simply pointing out that it looks like she lied on these forms, and she did it to get better terms and a better rate on the loans. So she was doing it for personal gain, and you're not supposed to do those kind of things.
Yeah. Letitia James, who was put in by Governor Cuomo, the Attorney General of New York, went after Trump. She ran her whole when she was running for the election, she said she was going to get Trump. She put Trump through the ringer. Her and Alvin Bragg in New York City made him appear in court in front of Judge Merchan, who actually wanted to put Trump in jail. Rikers Island had a gag order on him. And Letitia James, now it come to find out that they say she was married to her father. I don't think you can be married to your father, not even New York, not yet. But that's what she said, and she lied on her policy. Whether anything happens to her, I think a lot of it's drama. Jim Jordan from the Congress, the Ohio congressman who loves Trump. He's really a pit bull, and they're after her. Jim Comer, the other congressman from Kentucky, Republican. They want to go after Hochul, and they want to go after Letitia James, and it's not even going after them. It's just trying to bring to light all that the Democrats are doing, what they're doing. Will Joe Biden ever pay for all the money he took? Will he ever be a Hunter Biden? He pardoned his own son. What's that tell you? Pardoned his whole family. What's that tell you, Americans? It's kind of pretty hard to believe you'd have to be pardoned if you're innocent, if you're not even in He's never even been found guilty, but he pardoned him. Hunter Biden. Hunter Biden's in South Africa. Not sure what he's doing over there. Elon Musk, who's in charge of DOGE, Department of Government Efficiency, originally was born in South Africa, went to Canada, went to school in Canada, I believe Toronto, and came into America about 25 years ago. He's changed the course of the history of the space program and the auto industry. Had the most famous car, the best car in America, the best automobile manufacturer in America. I never liked electric cars, but a lot of people did, and a lot of people bought them to a tune of billions and billions of dollars. But now they're after him. Now they're trying to burn down his Tesla factories, keying Teslas, throwing rocks through the windows, trying to burn the Teslas up. And it's just an amazing thing to watch America be taken apart by the people on the streets right now. People that think they're bringing disharmony. They're bringing disharmony because they don't have anything else to do. The Democrats are totally a party with no leader and with no answers. It's amazing to see. You want to play another clip, Juan? Go ahead.
Hook and jab, you do the kinds of things that you need to do. You talk to people and you encourage them and you make them feel good about who they are and what they're doing. Do not give up. I'm telling you, do not give up. Do not go to the Lord one of these days and feel like you have not done everything that you can for the beliefs that you have. Okay? Don't go to those dates and say, I wish I'd done this or I wish I'd done that. You're alive. And there are thousands and thousands and actually millions, but certainly thousands of men and women who have sacrificed their lives, who are babies and had children and will never see those children grow up. And they did it because they love something greater than themselves. So that's the sacrifice that we have to make. We have to go and do that for each other. So I'm just telling you is that I don't have the answers
Go ahead.
that everybody needs, but I do know that I will never give up. I will never give up. They will bury me before I give up. They will. And I do that.
That was General Michael Flynn, never give up. And I think we have somebody on the phone that's a friend of General Michael Flynn. Pretty good timing, George. How are you?
Yeah, I recognize the voice.
I figured you did. I played that. I didn't know you were. Well, we figured we play it. We just had must have been a miracle. A lot of miracles happening in America. Biggest miracle was November when Trump won. That they didn't cheat again. They tried. How are you doing?
Not bad. Busy.
How
as usual.
Were you up at the White House at the bunny party? Or not?
No. I was watching the rabbit that Biden had before.
Did you see he got a brown rabbit this year instead of a white rabbit? They were making a big deal out of that because Trump had a brown rabbit. They were making a big deal out of it. It's not the tradition of the White House to have a brown. Well, he was probably trying to just get him to have another something to talk about. So what do you want to talk about tonight? I mean, you're a guy that's been around so many of these people and you know them by hand. So go ahead, I'll let you talk and I'll just listen.
Well, everybody's complaining about Pam Bondi. Tom Homan's doing a great job. Pete Hegseth is doing a great job. They're really fanning out a lot of people that were working for past administrations that still are buried into the Trump's administration. So they're cleaning house. Very good. It's just that everybody's complaining about Pam Bondi. They're not doing the arrest that they're supposed to do and stuff like that. So people got to realize that if they start arresting senators and congressmen on both sides, the country's going to collapse without congressional people there.
Yeah,
Everything's got to be in place. The military has to be in place. Martial law has to be called.
Well, we don't want to do what Biden did because that was his motive. He wanted to crash the country, but Trump wants to move the country forward.
Yeah. So I think that's why they called him back a little bit.
And I think
I don't.
I think it's great that J.D. Vance, he got to meet the Pope. And, maybe they knew that the Pope was pretty sick, and that's why he went over there, because people are trying to say, oh, Vance had something to do with it. But he went because he's a Catholic and he wanted to see the Pope,
Yeah, he converted him.
He converted him, and it's too bad it happened. But the Pope had little different feelings on borders than I do, but that was his, his right. Argentina, he was from.
Yeah, he was socialist. He was an actual socialist.
I didn't want to. He's not. They didn't even have his funeral yet. We could talk about that next week. But Trump's going to the funeral. He's heading over to Rome Saturday, I believe, and I think it's going to be on at like 3 or 4 in the morning our time or something. Cause
it's a different date in the morning. Yeah.
Yeah. Are you going to watch it?
I don't. Trump is on. I'll watch it.
Are you going to go? Are you on Air Force One? No.
Nah.
Yeah.
I'm down there one day. They promised me on that one, so I'll wait.
Yeah. So what do you think about these senior citizens on the sidewalks protesting Elon Musk? What's the deal with that?
We went to one, and a woman on the opposite side approached us. She said, we just like to have a peaceful protest and everything. This was done in Claremont by a Tesla dealer. The Tesla dealer was very happy that we were there. They enjoyed us being there, and they said, thank you very much for showing up. But the woman from the opposite approached me. She said, I don't want to have any problem, because we all had biker vests on, so I think they were intimidated. But she came over and said to me, I just want a peaceful, everybody has the First Amendment. And when she said yes about the First Amendment, I told her, I also believe in not only the First Amendment, but I also believe in the Second Amendment. So she knew that we were prepared. So you should have saw her face when I said about the Second Amendment.
Well, you were probably in a way they want peaceful protests, and that's what most of them are doing, I guess. But I don't know. I don't know about what's coming this summer. What the leftists have planned. For the streets.
There was one done in Brooksville. They were bussed in. 2 weeks ago, and now they went to another location when they found out everybody was going to be there, and on the steps of the courthouse in Brooksville, they went to another location. There's a guy. What do you call it? He's a Democratic chair in the county, and what he does is he gets everybody over there. I know as far as Tampa, they came by. Everything else, they just it's unbelievable. I can't believe it's all majority of old people, and they talk about Social Security, about they're going to steal the Social Security. Then I had some discussions with some veterans, and because Trump is trying to clean out the veterans administration again. That's terrible. I mean, they don't. They don't know.
I can see where they get worried, but they got to look at the fact that he saved Social Security, because if the border stayed open, there wouldn't have been any money left, at the end of another term. I mean, they were giving Social Security, my Social Security, probably your Social Security. They were giving it to the people that were coming across the border, illegally.
Yeah, it was $159 billion that has caused the United States taxpayer to pay for the illegals' education, because they get Medicare and they get social assistance and stuff like that. So that's where all the money comes out of, and it comes out of Social Security. As Medicare and stuff like that everything comes out of the same thing, the same pot. So that's why they're trying to save. I mean, Elon Musk is doing a great job. It's just that their pockets are getting hurt, because a lot of that money used to get, routed to all these Democrats. I call them now instead of Democrats, I call them demoron crats, because they're just a bunch of morons. I never saw anything. And defending this MS-13 guy, how they all went there, I don't understand why that's against the Logan's Act.
Well, it is. But like you said, the same old thing. If you put the senator in in jail. It just creates more. This is what they want. They're trying to bait Trump, but I think Trump's smarter than that. You know, he went to New York Military Academy in high school up on the Hudson River, and he learned a lot of basics about. He was taught by I think a Marine was his teacher, and you know, when Donald Trump was up there, he was one of the head cadets, and he led the different parts of the programs they had, and he learned a lot about. I think, it's a military fight we're in right now. When you think about it, we're fighting our own citizens, and that's hard to grasp. But that's what's happening because there's globalists that want to take over this country, and they're behind the Chinese who want to destroy this country, and they're not for Americans. This is what. Why would a guy go down to that El Salvador to want to bring some gang member back?
Well, you don't get that they're doing that big trade deal with India. And India says we'll do all the work, and also Vietnam. And what's happening? China better wake up, because the United States will destroy China with all the tariffs and stuff, because we'll make deals with other countries. Italy, you got Italy, India, Vietnam, you got Taiwan, you got all these countries that want to work with Trump. And Trump says the sooner you come, the better deals you get. And it's possible, but China don't want to move. And what China's trying to do is make deals with other countries, and they're going to fail, because there's no way. And Italy just did a big contract with Trump about getting the natural gas from us being shipped over to Italy, because everybody's getting stuff from Russia.
And China is, India's got almost as big of a population, and they probably got workers that'll work. And then, India wasn't a friend with tariffs either. They were charging us a lot, but if he's going to have reciprocal tariffs, that's a great thing to see, because they're going to have to say, well, no more tariffs, I guess, right?
Yeah, well, that's what, don't forget, we never had taxes until after 1913. Before that, we were surviving on this country was surviving on tariffs. That's how we were made, and a lot of money was being made on tariffs. It's just that everybody between the Federal Reserves and everything else like that. That's what people don't understand. They're talking about, and the whole thing is the market. The market is being controlled by the elites, and that's it. Yeah. But you got to look at what's happening with the people of the middle class, about the gas going down, food going down, and stuff like that. And interest rates going down, and that's what's going to affect the middle class. Not so many people have stuff in the market. Some people do, but you can't cash out right away. Don't cash out. Wait, because it comes right back again.
And he really said Jerome Powell, ought to be booted from the Federal Reserve because he wouldn't drop the interest. And everybody thinks, he wants to boot well, he ought to get rid of that whole mess. Federal Reserve. We don't need all these because, like you say, they're all controlled by the elitists. And the stock market went up over 1,000 today, I think, and so did NASDAQ. They went up, I believe, today. They went down yesterday. They're up today, and they're playing a game. They're trying to scare the American people to give up. Yeah. Yep.
Boy, that's why what's his name? Charles Schwab retired. He got out of the limelight.
I saw yesterday, right after the Pope passed away, the big Schwab over in the Davos. They had those big parties over there. They had rooms over there where nobody could go in, but the elitists like Bill Gates. What Bill Gates ever do for the? I think maybe his father was pretty good, helping get rid of polio. His father was a good man. I know. I was in Rotary Club and they used to speak very highly of Bill Gates' father. This is 20 years ago, eradicating polio in the world. But Bill, he kind of lost his, something happened to him, maybe his wife when he left her or she left him. But
you get the Pope that was down, that passed away. He was Argentina, but don't forget the Pope before him, Pope John, was told to retire. Because he was too conservative, and the reason why, and that never happened. Usually the Pope passes away, and then a new Pope gets sick. But he was the first Pope to be put in retirement, and he retired. And then Pope Francis came out to play, so that's what messed up a lot of stuff. So
Pope Francis is Well, he's going to have a big funeral, I guess, over there. Are you? You're not going. You're not going to watch it, and you're Catholic, right? Catholic.
Yeah, I was until everything else got messed up.
Yeah, what's a Catholic? Like I said to
Supposedly-
my Italian best friend, I said, "What's a Catholic?" Oh, is a Catholic, and that's what he said. He said, "Yeah, but
I got beaten up by brothers.
I know."
I had-
Well, but it's an amazing thing, the Catholic faith. I mean, there's over 1 billion members and throughout the world, and maybe they'll get a good pope this time, a decent pope. They're trying to get what's one from Somalia or an African one?
110 billion Roman Catholics around the world,
Yeah.
and there's 107 billion Muslims around the world, and they're catching up.
Yeah, well, the Catholics have got more money in the Vatican, I think. That Vatican, the Pope used to say he didn't like walls. Well, what about the big wall around the Vatican?
Oh, that's good. It's unbelievable.
He's there's going to be a lot of hype about him and how wonderful he was and everything. Which I'm not going to knock him, but I'm just saying that hopefully even Schwab, he resigned, but they've already got somebody in charge now that's worse than him. They say, he's younger, and they want to take over. They want you to have a great reset and be okay with everything and make everything like everybody's got the same, and that's okay. That's what they want.
Yep.
And it. They'll take your motorcycle probably. You'll have to give it half of it to somebody else.
Yeah, no share. We don't share.
I saw you on your way down to Mar-a-Lago. Was that you on Facebook last week, or you and three other?
Yeah.
And you were in the back. They had you in the back seat. Why was that? Why weren't you driving?
I was the protected.
Iceman. Tom Holman, the Iceman, right? You gave him an ice.
Yep.
It's amazing.
I gave him a- Yep.
What about Kash Patel? Is he getting anything done in the FBI?
They made some arrests, but everything's not being told yet. I mean, from what I hear from the people I know inside, there's a lot of stuff going to happen. It's happening behind the scenes, but I think they're trying to weed out the garbage that's in there. There's still a lot of FBI agents in there that did all these arrests for the J6s and stuff like that. So they got to weed them out because, everybody doesn't realize the cabinet that President Trump has. There's like 950 people that work under Trump between the FBI and everything else. So all these people have got to be vetted again. There's a lot of people left over.
You think any of those people that were in those gulags, the prisons up in Washington, will get retributions from? Can Trump give them any kind of money? I mean, there were hundreds of them, right?
There was 1,500 that were with the J6s. There's still 14 of them. They got the pardon, but they still have problems with the pardon. With the law, the local law and stuff like that. They're still on terrorist watch list. Just because they got the pardons doesn't mean they're completely free.
Okay.
There were 14 left on the list. There were 10 Oath Keepers and 4 Proud Boys that were still on that list because when the FBI filed the papers, they filed them locally. So now everything's got to get through Kash Patel to go through all that paperwork and then eventually being released so they get the full pardon and stuff.
I hope they go in and arrest that Letitia James with her, maybe in her nightgown or something, or maybe in her house. I hope they go in her house in the middle of the night, like she had done tomorrow. I mean, these people are what they did to Trump and other people like Roger Stone and Steve Bannon and Peter Navarro. What they did to them is unforgivable, really.
There's an old Italian saying, he who spits in the face comes right back in the face.
Eventually.
He who spits in the ceiling comes back in the face. And that's what they all did.
Yeah.
All of them try to charge Trump with something, and they're getting hit back with it.
Yeah. I know. Well, I thank you for calling, George. And thanks a lot for the your work on what you're doing for the Born to Ride for 45 group organization. It's a great.
We have a show on Rumble called Wake Up Patriots at 9:00 in the morning.
Okay.
You got got a lot of good stuff on there, which we could say, we can't say on other stuff. So
I've heard you on there. Yeah, I've heard you on there, and I hear that's Rumble.
Yeah, wake up.
Ed
Wake
Henry.
Up,
Is that Ed Henry? No, not Ed
yeah,
Henry.
that's the deal, right?
I've heard.
We got Thursday and Friday.
Tell him I could be on Saturday if he needs an extra voice. Me and you. I like the swords you got in the background. I'll put a dachshund in the back of me, a little puppy, So, a poodle.
Right.
If more people were like dogs, we'd be a better country, I think, more people. Right? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, God bless you. God bless you,
All right,
George.
brother.
Thank you very much for calling, and call again, okay? Okay, thanks, George. Okay. Hey, let's play that next clip. I think we got one of the mother that married the father, I think. Go ahead.
That's what it feels like. It feels like a part of you is being ripped out of you.
President Trump campaigned on the promise to secure our homeland and deport violent alien criminals from our communities. Maryland Democrat Senator Chris Van Hollen rushed to Dulles Airport this morning to fly to El Salvador, potentially using taxpayer dollars to demand the release of deported illegal alien MS-13 terrorists. To remind the media and the Democrat Party, MS-13 are among the most vicious and dangerous individuals in this world. They pose a direct threat to the United States, El Salvador, and any other country who maintains basic law and order. Nobody knows this more than the woman standing to my right, Patty Morin, whose beautiful daughter Rachel was brutally maimed and murdered at the hands of an illegal alien in August of 2023. Patty no longer has her daughter because of the failed Democrat Party's open border. And these are policies that President Trump is bringing an end to.
I sat for the last 2 weeks in her trial, and we saw layer upon layer upon layer of evidence against the accused, an illegal immigrant from El Salvador. And when he was sitting in the courtroom, there was no remorse on his face at all. This person took my daughter so violently and so gruesomely and so graphically that they sealed the pictures, because I don't want my granddaughters to see these pictures. If you're a mother here in the room, can you imagine standing there alive? You're alive, and someone comes and puts their hands into your chest and rips out your heart. That's what it feels like. It feels like a part of you is being ripped out of you. You can't even describe the pain. Why should we allow people like this, violent criminals that have no conscience at all, to murder our mothers, our sisters, our daughters? I don't understand this. Thank you.
God bless that mother. And she was at the White House. Press reporters were there, and the room was silent. But this is what this senator went down to El Salvador to bring people like that back. This mother begging. Donald Trump was with her, talked to her. She's going throughout the country trying to be a voice for the victims. Americans love people. We're the greatest country on the planet when it comes to compassion for people. We want our streets to be safe. We want our homes to be safe. We want the alleyways and the trails that we walk on to be safe for our mothers, our daughters, our granddaughters. And when senators and congressmen go to El Salvador to showboat so that they think they might get some clicks on social media, the majority of American people are behind Donald Trump when it comes to immigration and mass deportation. I don't think he will deport everyone that ever came across the border. I don't say that everyone that came across the border is bad. I don't say that, but there are a lot of people. That's why they vet people, vet when they come into the country. That's why they check them out. They say that the prisons in Venezuela were actually opened, and the President Maduro was sending his worst of the worst of the worst into America. China is sending fentanyl. That is why Donald Trump is raising these tariffs against China with the fentanyl. A few years back, COVID came into America from China. We lost friends. We lost family members to China because they didn't seem to care. Joe Biden blamed Donald Trump for coronavirus deaths. But Joe Biden was the one that mandated that people take the vaccine, that Donald Trump was the one that got put through, and we weren't told that he got it approved before the election. And then he ran, Joe Biden, Donald Trump, when he ran the campaign against Donald Trump, Joe Biden blamed Trump. He didn't blame China. And fentanyl, that's killing 100,000 Americans a year, maybe more, you'll never know. Canada as well. Fentanyl was coming through Canada. And this is why Trump has got these big, and plus because of the money that we're going to make. Do you know how much money was spent on COVID, on China virus? Do you know how much money that cost the country? Trillions and trillions of dollars. And if it were up to me, I would want China to pay it all back. They almost destroyed a country, a planet. And now with fentanyl, which is made in China, yeah, when you buy that little toy for your granddaughter and it says made in China, think of fentanyl. I doubt if it's on the package when it comes into this country, made in China, produced in Mexico, so they can give it to our kids and our people in this country at parties, and people will die pretty much instantly because of it. So let's play another clip. I think we got a good one about Bernie Sanders. I think it's a pretty good. I think this is on that.
If you do not listen to her, your event will be shut down right now. Right now. Your decision. Make a decision now.
One day, when the glory comes, it will be ours. It will be ours. Oh, one day, when the war is won.
We are going to let you on the mic. Okay. All right. So we are trying to be reasonable. We are trying to be reasonable. We are trying to be reasonable. We are trying. We're going to let you on the mic. We are going to give you the mic. We will after Senator Sanders. After Senator Sanders. After Senator Sanders. After Senator Sanders. After Senator Sanders.
Do not tell me what
After
to do.
Senator Sanders.
Sit down.
After Senator Sanders. Okay. All right.
Let her speak.
All right.
Let her speak.
All right. We're shutting it down. You are shutting it down. You are disrupting this event. You are disrupting this event. We will.
That's on his campaign. Let her
No,
speak.
you are shutting it down. We are shutting.
Let her speak or we shut it down.
We will shut it down. You are shutting it down. You are. No. How long are you going to go? How long are you going to go?
That's your attitude that I have nothing to say.
Okay, Bernie. The other guy was going to let her talk, but they shut it down. And Bernie and AOC wanted their oligarchy tours, the touring across the country. She's trying to get Senator Schumer's position in New York. She's pivoting for that right now, AOC. She's trying to be maybe the senator of New York. Chuck Schumer is on the ropes right now. They got him up against the ropes. She's raising a lot of money, AOC. The barmaid from Westchester County, New York, grew up in a wealthy family, pretty wealthy family, they say. I think in Scarsdale, New York. She's very young, in her 30s, I believe, but she's one they got to watch, the Republicans, the GOP, but they're shutting it down. They shut it down. And I think we got one more clip we could just end the show with, then go into that Only in America, and I'll talk a little more. Go ahead.
Do you really see a deal emerging? Are you confident?
I think you used a very good word there, Sean, emerging. I do. This is the third meeting I've had with him. This last meeting lasted close to 5 hours. We had two of his key advisors in the room at the time, Ushakov and Kirill Dmitriev. And it was a compelling meeting. And towards the end, we actually came up with, and I'm going to say finally, but I don't mean it in the way that we were waiting. I mean it in the way that it took a while for us to get to this place. What Putin's request is to have a permanent peace here. So beyond a ceasefire, we got an answer to that.
And we're going to end the show on that Easter. Pope's funeral will be on Saturday. Donald Trump will be going, but Donald Trump is trying to bring peace to that Ukraine war, Ukraine and Russia. And that was the talk about the negotiators talking to Vladimir Putin. They want to have peace in Ukraine as well as Russia, that part of Europe. Pray for the peace of Europe, pray for the peace of Jerusalem, and pray for the peace of America. And I think you could take us out with that song there, Juan. And I want to thank Juan very much for taking over, Ed, and pray for Ed as he recovers from probably a hard job that he does. Producers have hard jobs, right, Juan? Tough job. Go ahead. God bless America.
Only in America can a kid without a cent get a break and make